What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to ask the question, how do we think the mutant X gene will make its way into the MCU? Now, I realize that it might seem like a cut and dry answer with Deadpool and Wolverine coming out next week, which I plan to do a spoiler review whenever it comes out next week, so just be prepared for that. But it may seem that Logan and Wade will just come to Earth 616 through the TVA, and that's just how they're introduced. But that will be as credible as saying that the Fantastic Four are in the MCU, just because we were introduced to Reed Richards on Earth 838. Which is to say, not at all in my opinion. So, if that's not how they're introduced, then how? And I think I got the answer. So to start off, we gotta go over how the mutants in the Fox universe came to be, and we'll just work from there. So mutants have been around since at least 3600 BC, because Apocalypse was a mutant, and his main thing is that he would transfer himself into other mutants, and he would adopt that mutant's powers and bring it along with him to the next one. But then after that, we don't really know of any mutants until we get to Logan in the 19th century. And then there's Charles Xavier, Eric Langshire, Raven, and Hank McCoy, who are all born before or around the time of World War II. I say that to say that the mutants have been around for a while, but they became more and more prominent after the war. And Charles explains this while he's talking to the CIA, trying to convince them of the mutation of the X gene.
The advent of the nuclear age may have accelerated the mutation process. Individuals with extraordinary abilities may already be among us.
So, pretty much to sum up the mutation in the Fox universe, the X gene was already in certain people, but it didn't become as developed until after the war, when the world was exposed to nuclear radiation. Then from there, that's all it took was some sort of stressor or traumatic experience, and then the gene was able to be complete and their powers started to show. And that's when other mutants started to pop up, such as Alex and Scott Summers, Jean Grey, Storm, and Quicksilver. So that's how the mutant gene got developed in the Fox universe, but my original question was, how will the mutant gene get introduced into the MCU's Earth 616? Well, Deadpool and Wolverine will definitely be going universe hopping along with the TVA, but I don't think that's how they're going to be introduced into the universe. No, I think it's going to have a little more to it, and it's going to have consequences that lead all the way back to Avengers Endgame. Now, ever since the end of the Infinity Saga, have you ever noticed the presence of more and more superpowered individuals? Like, there's more and more superpowered people that Jen Walters takes on as clients in She-Hulk. And there's even this reference to Logan in one of the shots of the show. All of these superpowered individuals are just popping up more and more, just like in the Fox universe. It's all just like the snap of a finger. Or three. So we learned before that the radiation from the age of nuclear warfare is what accelerated the X gene in the Fox universe. We also learned in Endgame that the Infinity Stones give off radiation that Hulk explains is mostly gamma.
We don't, but the radiation's mostly gamma. It's like, I was made for this.
And then Rocket explains this.
When Thanos snapped his fingers, Earth became ground zero for a power surge of ridiculously cosmic proportions. No one's ever seen anything like it.
So, ground zero for a power surge of ridiculously cosmic proportions. Sounds pretty traumatic if you ask me, which is one of the key ingredients to unlocking the mutant X gene. Especially since it was not once, not twice, but 3 snaps. I think at least one of them would have had some kind of effect on the population. And if you don't think that the radiation would affect any of the people that stayed existing during the 5-year blip, then it could be explained in a way that only the people that were affected by the snap would have been affected by the radiation and see the effects. So if they were snapped away, then they were 100% exposed to the radiation, and that radiation could have mutated the X gene that was already living inside them, just more dormant. Until they were turned to dust and then reconstructed, which that sounds like it would be pretty dramatic. And we already see examples through the MCU of the Infinity Stones giving powers to those exposed to the radiation. Wanda and Pietro Maximoff being two of my main examples, as they were exposed to the radiation of the Mind Stone by Strucker. Pietro given super speed and amplifying Wanda's access to chaos magic. Amplifying as if they were unlocking certain abilities. And it helps that in the comics they were both born of Magneto, who is one of the most famous, or infamous, mutants there is. Then the other example is Captain Marvel being given her powers by the Space Stone. So Carol Danvers is a former Air Force pilot who used to work for Wendy Lawson, who was actually the original Captain Marvel, Marvel. She was working on a project called the Lightspeed Engine, which was harnessing energy from the Tesseract, which held the Space Stone. And when Carol destroyed the energy core, she absorbed all of the power and radiation that came from the Space Stone. Then you have the second-hand radiation that you get whenever you look at Monica Rambeau. Powers that Wanda was given by a certain Mind Stone. See where I'm going? So Deadpool and Wolverine will definitely be introducing the two to multiversal travel, but as for the mutants on Earth 616, I think they need to be introduced a little more organically. And I think that instead of the nuclear radiation from World War II like in the Fox universe, it's actually going to be the radiation from the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones being snapped once, twice, and 3 times. And whether it's only those affected by the snap, or everyone due to it being a power surge like no one has ever seen before, I guess we'll just have to find out next weekend when Deadpool and Wolverine come out. And so that's going to be it for this week's video, guys. I want to know your thoughts. Do you think that the snap is what caused the mutant X gene to accelerate? Or do you think that the other mutants will just come to Earth 616 from other universes? Also, are you as excited as I am about Deadpool and Wolverine? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos from me, such as that spoiler review next week when the movie comes out. Also, if you want to watch any of my other videos, I do all sorts of rankings and challenges. You can watch this video right here, where I eat all of the Little Debbie cake ice creams. And you can watch this video right here, which YouTube will just generate based on your watch history. But until next week, I will see you guys later.